We will be continuing with AS11, which is changes in foreign exchange rates. What we have done in first lecture of this AS11. First, we understood what are foreign transactions. Import, export, investments, those all are foreign transactions. Then we understood on the date of transaction, we need to convert that foreign exchange currency into Indian currency. Which rate we will be using? Date of transaction. Yesterday also average rate is pending. We are just now doing what is average rate. Try to concentrate. When you say date of transaction, say today's date is 4th May 21. You will be taking the rate of dollar as on 11 o'clock or at the end of the day. All right. Because the rate fluctuates every second. So you might take average rate opening plus closing divided by 2. Or you may even take, say if you are recording the transaction after 1 month, you might even take a average rate of full week. So full week closing rate, you will be adding all the rates, divided by 7 will be nothing, or divided by 6 if the Sunday is ignored, will be nothing but average rate. So what is permitted? Date of transaction rate is also permitted, date of transaction average is also permitted, and full week average is also permitted. Then the difficult point came, which is on balance sheet date. How to convert this US dollar transactions or debtors or creditors, which are practically denominated in dollars, into rupees? How to convert it? Then which rate is to be used? Then we understood the difference monetary item, non-monetary item. What are monetary items? The items which can be converted into something which is measurable money or measurable cash is nothing but monetary item. Now debtors, if they are $10,000, I can easily say I am going to receive $10,000. Is it measurable? The answer is yes. Yes, whatever you will receive in rupees depends upon exchange rate, but you are going to receive that $10,000 is fixed. So they will be monetary items. Creditors, you know that you are going to pay this. Cash and bank balance, you know you are going to receive this much money. Closing stock, if you sell, if your selling price is fixed, you will be knowing how much amount you will be getting. Also, opening stock and closing stock are not much of discussion, because opening stock will be valued at opening rate and closing stock will be valued at closing rate. Is it all right? What are non-monetary items? A fixed asset. Say I am having a building. It might fetch me 10 lakhs rupees. It might fetch me $5,000. It might fetch me $20,000. Then it is converted into, it can be converted into money, but how much cannot be measured. So they will be treated as non-monetary item. That's all right. And in monetary item, we record or convert it at closing rate. Non-monetary item, actual rate or rate on the date of NRV, if the asset is valued at net realizable value. Was it all right? And then we went to settlement. On settlement date, again, which rate will be used is actual rate. Was it all right? So this is the first point that we learned in lecture number 1. If there is a foreign exchange or foreign currency transaction, how to convert it on record date, most important balance sheet date, and then on settlement date. And we have understood the difference arising because of recording, any difference arising will be routed through profit and loss. So there might be difference over here, there might be difference over here. Everything will be routed through profit and loss account. And we did some questions related to this point also. Is it all right? Then we went on understanding integral foreign operations, non-integral foreign operations. Any foreign operations, branch, department, or any other unit of a particular Indian company which is outside the country might be integral part of that company, Indian company, might be independent of that Indian company. Either integral part or independent unit, both will be preparing trial balance in their foreign currency. Say it is in USA, it will be preparing trial balance in dollars. We need to convert it into rupees. What we require, foreign exchange rate. Is it all right? Which rate is to be used for transaction? That is a criteria. If it is integral foreign operations, first, opening stock. Then it is a monetary item. Then it is a non-monetary item. And then it is expenses, purchase, sales, wages, etc. Which rate will be used for opening stock? Opening rate. Closing stock and monetary item, closing rate. Non-monetary item, actual rate or date as on the date of NRV. Rate as on the date of NRV. This will be actual rate or if they are non-integral foreign operations, then what? Opening stock will be valued at opening rate. Monetary items as well as non-monetary items will be valued at closing rate. And this will be on actual or average rate. Is it all right? So what is the difference? Difference is only non-monetary item. If it is integral foreign operations, it is at actual rate or the rate as on the date of NRV. If it is non-integral foreign operations, it is closing rate. Is it all right? One another difference. Sorry, it should be over here. One another difference, any difference arising in your trial balance while converting this dollar into rupees will be transferred to profit and loss account. But here, any difference arising will be transferred to foreign currency translation reserve. If debit balance, it will be on asset side. If credit balance, it will be on liability side. Is it all right? These are the 3 points: normal foreign transactions, integrated foreign operations, and non-integral foreign operations. We have learned how to record it as per AS 11. As I told you, we will be doing some questions of integral foreign operations, one question of integral foreign operations, one question of non-integral foreign operations, and then we'll be going ahead. First, let us do of integral foreign operation. Assume this operation is integral foreign operations. On 31st March, the following ledger balances are extracted from the books of Washington branch. There is building in dollars 180, opening stock 26, cash and bank $75, Purchase is $96. Sales $110. Commission received $28. Debtors $46. Creditors $65. See, this is extract of trial balance. If it is trial balance, there will be debit and credit, and now it will be converted. It is integral foreign operations, and I am converting it into rupees. Sorry. If it is building, it will be actual rate. Let us see which all rates are given. Use the following exchange rate. Opening rate is 52 per dollar. Closing rate is 56 per dollar. Average rate is 54 per dollar. And fixed asset rate is 48 per dollar. That's right. Building is a non-monetary item, so will be recorded at actual fixed asset rate. And what is fixed asset rate is 48. Opening stock is always valued at opening rate, whether it is integral or non-integral foreign operations. Cash and bank is a monetary item, will be recorded at a closing rate. Purchase is at actual rate because it is expenditure. Actual rate is not given, you can take average rate. Sir, this might be average of full year, yes. It might be average of 1 week, yes. It might be average of 1 day, the answer is yes. But which rate is to be used? Actual or average. Sales is also average rate. Commission is also average rate. Debtors are monetary items of balance sheet. If they are monetary items, it will be at closing rate. And if creditors are also monetary items, will be at closing rate. Sorry. For the purpose of making it easy, I am just not multiplying it. Sorry. You can just multiply it and find out the answer. What will be the if it was non-integral foreign operations. Suppose if it was NF, $180 will be multiplied by. This is non-monetary item, but even if it is non-monetary item, it will be at closing rate if it is non-integral foreign operations. So what is the closing rate is 56. Opening stock will be at opening rate 52. Cash and bank are monetary items, will be at closing rate 56. Purchases will be at average rate 54. Sales will be at average rate 54. Commission received will be at average rate 54. Debtors are monetary, whether monetary or non-monetary, it will be converted at closing rate, will be 56. Creditors will be also converted at. If you see the difference between integral and non-integral, they are only monetary items. Sorry, non-monetary items. Non-monetary items in integral foreign operations are converted at closing rate. And non-monetary items as far as integral foreign operations are converted at closing rate. Non-integral foreign operations are converted at non-monetary items. Integral foreign operations are converted at actual rate or NRV rate. Non-integral foreign operations or monetary or non-monetary item, as far as non-integral foreign operations are concerned, they are at closing rate. So if you will see the difference, only this green color is the difference, because that is the only non-monetary item in the question. Another important point, whatever difference arises in trial balance will be transferred to profit and loss account if they are integral foreign operations. Whatever differences arises in trial balance Because debit and credit are multiplied with different figures, there will be difference in trial balance. It will not be transferred to P&L account. It will be transferred to foreign currency translation reserve. Sorry. This is what we have done in part 1 of the lecture. Normal foreign transaction, integral foreign operations, and non-integral foreign operations. What we'll be learning next is forward contracts. See, accounting of forward contract are integral part of AS 11. So we first need to understand what are forward contracts, and then we'll be understanding how to account it for. Start it. Sir, why it is in foreign exchange transactions? Because you might take a forward of US dollar of pound. Start it. My first point is explanation of forward contract. So not necessarily we are taking any foreign exchange transactions. I'm just trying to explain you forward contract. I'm giving you a situation and contract between two persons, and I'll be asking you some of the questions. Concentrate clearly. What is an example? There is a farmer who grows potatoes. So it is output for farmer. There is another company which is Balaji Wafers. For this particular company, potatoes are raw material. They will require, Balaji Wafers will require 100 kgs of potatoes. But the thing is, they will require this 100 kgs of potatoes after 1 month. Alright. On other side, farmer will be having 100 kgs of potatoes. But farmers also will be having 100 kgs of potato after 1 month. He has grown the potatoes, he'll be taking out, he'll be cutting the potatoes, and everything packing will require 1 month, and after 1 month it will be absolutely ready. Install it. Both are knowing it. Farmer is knowing that he is going to get potatoes in 1 month, and Balaji Wafer is knowing that they'll require 100 kgs of potato after 1 month. Install it. See what they are entering into contract. They both today enters into contract. That farmer will be giving 100 kgs of potatoes after 1 month to Balaji Wafers. Alright. When the delivery will be made? After 1 month will be delivery of. The rate should be fixed today? Yes, because the contract is entered today. Balaji Wafer will be giving rupees 10 multiplied by 100. This is 10 rupees per kg. So will be giving rupees 1000 to start. And this is the contract. Which is entered today. Delivery of goods will happen after 1 month, and even payment of the goods will be after 1 month. Sorry. Please try to understand, payment will be fixed. Right. See, what does this mean? After 1 month, if the price of potatoes becomes rupees 15 per kg, it will become 100 kg means 1500 rupees. So now Balaji Wafer will have to pay 1500 rupees. The answer is no. What was decided in the contract, 15 rupees or 10 rupees? 10 rupees. So whether price becomes 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 8 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 100 rupees, what will be paid by Balaji Wafer to farmer is rupees 10 per kg, which is in total rupees 1000 rupees. Is it all right? Neither more, neither less will be paid by Balaji Wafer to a farmer. Is it all right? Try to concentrate. You need to give me answer of this. Why farmer enters into this type of contract? My question is why? I hope the contract is absolutely clear to you all. Is it all right? The contract is made today between Balaji Wafers and farmers. Farmer will be giving 100 kgs of potatoes after 1 month to Balaji Wafers. Balaji Wafers will be exactly paying 10 rupees multiplied by 100 kgs, which is equal to 1000 rupees after 1 month to the farmer. This is a contract which is entered in between farmers and Balaji Wafers. My question is, why farmer enters into this type of contract? Can't a farmer wait for 1 month, and after 1 month when he get potatoes in his hand, he should sell it? Any student?
Sir,
Yes, Bhavya?
sir, because when the potato is harvested, there won't be security, like what would be the price then, or will it be sold or not. So right now, if he contracts, he has a security that it would be sold for at least 100 rupees, 10 rupees.
Exactly. Is it all right? Even if the wordings, I need to change some of the wordings. It is not security. Try to understand. Farmer is having a risk that price of potatoes will fall. It will become 2 rupees. Then farmer will be getting only 2 rupees. If it becomes 8 rupees, farmer will be getting only 8 rupees. Here he is getting fixed rupees 10. He is getting fixed rupees 10. So farmer is having the risk that price will be lower. To mitigate that risk, to reduce that risk, farmer will enter into this type of contract. Now farmer will not be at risk. Sorry. Another question, same student Bhavya, can you give me the answer why Balaji Wafer enters into this type of contract?
Sir, like in future, if the prices rise,
Yes.
then Balaji has contracted before a month that he would only pay 10 rupees. So they won't have to pay extra if the price of potato is more at that point of time.
Exactly. Is it all right? So it should be very clear, whatever is the price after 1 month, what is payable is rupees 10. So Balaji Wafer is having a risk that price will rise. If price become 20 rupees, instead of 1000 rupees, we'll have to pay 2000 rupees. And understand, this is 1000 and 2000. If the rupees are in crores, then instead of 1000 crore, you need to pay 2000 crores. That is your risk. And to reduce that risk, Balaji Wafers enters into, or to mitigate that risk, or to remove that risk, Balaji Wafers enters into this type of contract. Sorry. Now try to concentrate. Balaji Wafers can concentrate on manufacturing quality wafers. Farmer can concentrate on growing good quality of potatoes. Had they not entered into this contract, both of them, whether the price is falling, whether the price is rising, both of them ultimately will be concentrating on the price of potatoes rather than to grow quality potatoes and rather than to manufacture good quality of wafers. So they will not now be at any risk. Farmer is certain that they are going to get 10 rupees. Balaji Wafer is certain that they are going to pay 10 rupees per kg as far as potatoes after 1 month are concerned. Is it all right? So for good night sleep, to do the business without carrying much risk. See, Balaji Wafer is already carrying some of the risk to sell the wafers. There are other competitors and there are other risks. Why to carry this type of risk of price fluctuation of potatoes? Is it all right? So, for reducing the risk, both are entering into contract. Both are entering into contract. Is it all right? This contract between farmer and Balaji Wafers, where the contract is made today, wherein price is also fixed and the delivery and payment is going to made in future, are termed as which contract? Sir, today price of potato will be 10. Might be, might not be. All right. What is this 10 rupees? Yes, contract is entered today. Try to understand. The rate might be today 9. But they are not entering into contract for today. The delivery is going to happen after 1 month. The payment is going to happen after 1 month. And both of them agrees at rupees 10. And so this rupees 10 is nothing but which rate? Forward rate. It might be current rate, it might not be current rate. There is no compulsion that it should be current rate only. Is it all right? It depends upon these two persons' negotiations. All right. On which date we are today? Now let us go to next page, that is after 1 month. After 1 month. After 1 month, the price of potatoes, situation number 1 is rupees 20 per kg. Correct. Drashti, you are online and you need to tell me how much money will be paid by Balaji Wafer to farmer. The contract is of 100 kg. 100 kg into 20, 2000. Am I right or wrong? Yes, no?
No, 1,000 rupees will be paid.
1000 rupees will be paid. Is it all good? You are understanding the contract of forward. Whatever is the market price, what is to be paid is 1000 rupees. Because what is the contracted rate? Rupees 10 per kg multiplied by 100, which is nothing but 1000 rupees. Is it all right? So whatever is the market price after 3 months, what is this? This is market price after not 3 months, after 1 month. Is it all right? What is to be paid is 1000 rupees by Balaji Wafer to farmer. What farmer will be giving to Balaji Wafer is 100 kgs of potatoes. Is it all right? Try to concentrate. My question is, there are two parties, farmer, Balaji Wafer. My question is, the market price is 20 rupees. What Balaji Wafer is paying is 1000 rupees only. Is it all right? My question is, who will be happy and who will be sad after 1 month? Who will be happy and who will be sad after 1 month? Yes, Drashti?
Loss. Farmer will be in loss and the Balaji Wafers will be beneficial.
All right. I'm changing the words. Not loss or beneficial, but farmer will be sad.
Yes,
And why he will be sad? Can you tell me, Drashti?
because the price is now increased and he will not be able to get the increased price. So
He will not be able to get that 20 rupees. The price is now 20. Had he not entered into contract, he might have got 2000 rupees. But now he will be have to settle with 1000 rupees. And so you are correct. Farmer will be sad. Balaji Wafers, why they will be having profit or they will be very happy? Can you explain me, Drashti?
Because now the price is increased, but Balaji Wafers have to pay only 10 rupees per
Exactly. If had they not entered into contract, they might have ended up paying 2,000 rupees. But now, as they have already entered into contract, they will only have to pay 1,000 rupees, and so they will be very happy. Drashti, last question. Whether farmer will again enter into this type of contract? Say again after 1 month, they are having a stock of potatoes.
Depends on the price and condition.
Depends on price, but due to this, farmer will stop entering into this type of contract. The answer is no. All right, it is correct answer. Depends upon price and situation. But a farmer right now might be sad, but see, this is what is insurance contract. Is it all right? What happens in insurance contract? I pay LIC premium regularly every year, approximately 40-50,000 rupees per annum. Is it all right? If I die, my family members will be getting 1 crore rupees. If I don't die, my whole premium is gone. I will not receive a penny of my premium. So if I die, insurance company will be not happy. My family members will be happy. Not happy because I am dead. Be happy because they are getting 1 crore rupees. And if I don't die and my policy is over, then insurance company will be happy. I will not be happy because that is my expenditure, and in that expenditure I have not received any type of money. So this is when I take insurance, I am risk free, that if I die, then my family members are safe. Insurance company is also happy because they are getting regular premium. So at the end of the day, one will be happy, one will be sad, but this will not be always the situation. All right. Let me take situation number 2. If price of potatoes is rupees 5 per kg, this is market price after 1 month. Drashti, you only need to tell me how much Balaji Wafers will pay to farmer. 500?
No, 1,000.
It is 1,000 rupees. Who will be sad? Why? Who will be happy? Farmer will be sad or Balaji Wafers will be sad?
Farmer will be happy and Balaji Wafers.
Farmers will be happy. Balaji Wafers will be sad. Right. Why? No, Balaji Wafer, had they not entered into contract, they might have purchased at 5 rupees. And farmer will be very happy because there was a risk. See, there was a risk. This price will fall, and price has actually fallen. So had they not entered into contract, they might have sold it at 500 rupees. Now they are going to get 1,000 rupees. Is it all right? But irrespective of whether farmer is sad or Balaji Wafer is sad, they will again enter into this type of contract, because entering into this type of contract is not having an intention to get profit or loss. It is having intention to reduce the risk. It is having intention to reduce the risk. Story. I am again taking same example, situation number 1. Market price after 1 month is rupees 20 per kg. Alright. Try to concentrate. This is nothing but settlement by delivery. What will happen after 1 month? The market price is 20 rupees per kg. There are two parties, farmers and Balaji Wafers. Farmer will be giving 100 kgs potatoes to Balaji Wafers. Balaji Wafer will be paying 100 kg into 20. No, into 10. I don't know what is happening. But this is farmer Balaji wafers. Farmer will be giving 100 kgs of potatoes to Balaji wafer. Balaji wafer will be paying 100 kg into 20, no, into 10. That is 1000 rupees to farmer. What is this? Settlement by delivery. Actually, the potatoes are delivered to the Balaji wafers, and Balaji wafers makes actual payment of 1000 rupees to farmer. Is it alright? Try to concentrate. There is another concept, important concept, and this is the concept which is actually applicable in practical life. That is, first understand it is all. So if the settlement happens by delivery, the contract is over, the contract is settled, everything is finished. Is it alright? But if the settlement is done by difference, settlement is done by difference, is it alright? Then how to do settlement by difference? There is farmer, there is Balaji wafer, is it alright? Farmer will be paying to Balaji wafer 100 kgs into 10 rupees. What is 10 rupees? It is a 20 minus 10. What is 20? Current market price minus 10 to Balaji wafers, and that is all. The contract is settled by difference. The contract is settled by difference. Is it alright? Sir, how you have done it? You are not knowing it. I'll explain you. But try to understand first what is settlement by difference is. It is an alternative to settlement by delivery. So if you have done settlement by delivery, there is no question of doing settlement by difference. And if you have done settlement by difference, there is no question of doing delivery of goods. Is it alright? See what is happening over here. There are two parties. One is Balaji wafers. Alright. At what rate? Now they will be purchasing from the market. They want 100 kgs of potatoes, that is for sure. Now they will have to purchase it from market because they have not got it from contract. In contract, they have got just 1000 rupees. They have not got potatoes. They have just got 1000 rupees. So they will have to purchase it from market. And what is the market rate? 20 rupees. So what will be that cost? 2000 rupees. Start. What they are getting from the contract, Balaji wafers, what they are getting from contract. Balaji wafers are getting, it is gain for Balaji wafers. What they are getting from the contract? 1000 rupees. What is the effective cost of Balaji wafer? They have spent 2000 rupees. They have received 1000 rupees. The net cost is 1000. Who is another party? Farmer. Farmer will now have to sell his potatoes in the market. Sir, he has already entered into contract. Agreed. But the problem is now they are doing settlement by difference and not settlement by delivery. Alright. So farmer will have to sell 100 kgs of potato in the market, and in market he will be getting 20 rupees. So he is getting a gain of 2000 rupees or revenue of 2000 rupees. But as this is the settlement, the farmer will have to pay rupees 1000 to Balaji because of forward contract. What is revenue for farmer is 1000 rupees. Try to understand, even this farmer is not delivering potatoes to Balaji Wafer. Still Balaji Wafer is getting 100 kgs of potato. And what is the effective cost is 1000, which was over here also. Farmer needed to sell 100 kgs of potato. Even if they are not selling it to Balaji Wafers, they are selling 100 kgs of potato, and net amount what they are receiving is 1000 rupees. Is it all right? So this is how settlement is done through difference. But sir, here you have written directly. We are not knowing how to find out this answer, that is rupees 1000. I'll teach you this. And this is the easiest method which I normally teach to CA final student also. This is an easiest method to decide how to solve this particular idea. Start it. Try to concentrate. First, you need to understand the language of stock market. Bullish and bearish. Bullish and bearish. Your Balaji Wafer was purchasing potatoes. There are many web series of stock market also. So you might be very comfortable right now with this idea. But the person who purchases something for future or for spot even, is it not? They are bullish. Who are bullish person? The person who gets a profit when the market increases. Is it all right? Farmer is selling potatoes. So farmer will be bearish. Bearish then 10 rupees. Bullish as compared to 10 rupees. So why Balaji Wafer is entering into this type of contract? Because Balaji Wafer feels that after 1 month the price will be more than 10 rupees. Why farmer is entering into contract? Because the farmer feels that the price will be less than 10 rupees. Farmer is bearish. Balaji Wafer is bullish. Sorry. What was the contracted price? Rupees 10. Alright. Write down two parties' name. Farmer, Balaji Wafer. Farmer was bearish. Balaji Wafer was bullish. Alright. Now, there is settlement only on one side. Believe me, whenever you do settlement by differences, there is only one arrow. Either Balaji Wafer will be paying to farmer or farmer will be paying to Balaji Wafer. Story. Who will pay to whom is dependent upon this. What was contract price? 10. Now, what is the market price? 20. Market is bullish. Agreed? Market has increased from 10, it has become 20. Market is bullish. So the person who was bullish will be getting money.